All right. So, but yeah, those who are interested, I'll go ahead and Malachi's a fellow YouTube content creator. His channel is linked down in the description. But I want to let me switch over to my notes real quick. Yep. Okay, moving right along. I want to talk about the one thing that Jesus hates more than anything. There was one thing. I don't know if you. Uh, okay, so yeah, Jesus Christ. Have you heard of him?
He's the guy that there's a religion. Not you, but a different guy with a religion.
Yeah. But yeah, there was one time he was really chill. He was like a pretty calm guy, except for one time. He got totally triggered, lost his shit. And do you know what that was? What got him so ticked off?
Was it abortion?
Good. Actually, no, it was not. It was
You
greed.
you think that that was the problem, but go on.
Yeah. No, it was the one time when people were trying to make a profit in the temples, and he was like, "What the hell, man? Flipping tables, fucking pissed off." And that's why, as far as like current events we've been talking about, or I mean, it's been a crazy. What? It's only been 3 weeks or something. Oh man, but a lot of crazy things. Elon Musk being a full-on Nazi. But I wanted to start our little conversation with the one thing that I thought was the most shocking, or like the most telling. I was, I guess, most surprised about this. And let's see. Okay. Actually, I haven't figured out a good. What is that? Oh, I need a different format. We'll try this. Where's that? Where is this? I'm sure you're familiar with it, but I just wanted to pull this up just as a reminder. Do you know this clip here, Bishop Buddy?
I am familiar with this event, but I would still love to see it again.
Hi. Yeah. Well, and I mean for our audience who I'm in case you're not up to date on it, but this was on Inauguration Day. So since it was a Sunday, Trump and his family pretended to go to church, and well, I mean they went to church, but like pretended to be good Christians and all that.
Yeah, they were
And
pretending to listen.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But so yeah, let's give this a listen and see what I want you to think about. Like, what might be so controversial, so triggering?
Make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away. and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
All right, let me just close that.
I feel
Yeah,
bad. I
here we
fixed
are.
my camera after we started. I got it working nicely.
No, there we go. Yeah. Right. So Bishop Buddy, she's asking Trump to be merciful, kind, loving, kind of, some might say Christ-like, kind of like Jesus. But yeah, what can you imagine what the controversy might be?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I can.
But so here's the thing. After that, Trump trash talked her. And it's like, that was a terrible sermon. You owe me an apology. How dare you criticize me? People were calling her a lesbian, which isn't even true, but if it was, it wouldn't matter. And so, like, I guess the reaction that Trump had wasn't too startling, but I had come to find out that so many MAGA people, well, they claim to be Christian, the MAGA Republican, they claim to be Christian, and then they see this and they're clutching their pearls and they're, how dare you, Bishop Buddy. It's amazing. It's crazy to me, man.
Yeah, one thing I kept seeing that was pretty predictable, but just as alarming as all the other responses was the calls from even elected government officials to deport her, which is sort of saying the quiet part out loud when it comes to the whole point behind the deportations and their support for them.
Man. Oh yeah, man. I lot of craziness happening. I mean, we could really get into the weeds, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I just think about, I guess, to me, something that I'll think about often is just that humans are intelligent, resourceful, and like we have enough to make sure that every human being on this planet is clothed, housed, food, fed, and sheltered. But it's these greedy fucks like Elon, Zuckerberg, Bezos, Trump. Yeah. So one question I wanted to ask you, well, kind of two questions, but what would you do if you had $1 million?
That's a funny question for me specifically, not because I've won $1 million before, but because a close friend of mine actually won $1 million while we were friends.
Ah.
And I saw what having that amount of money given to him at once did to him. And so I believe now my response to having $1 million would probably be much different than before I watched it tear apart someone. I would personally distance myself from it immediately. Maybe not give it away, but put it in a place where I'm not thinking about it. Like, I would probably donate a large portion, and then I would have the rest set off in different like accounts for my daughter or for like emergencies if something were to happen. And then I would probably just live my life normally for the most part. There's a corrupting influence behind money, but not just that. There's a corrupting influence on everybody else when someone has money, and it can be destructive of like personal relationships back and forth both ways. And so I'd probably just never tell anybody and not worry about being homeless if something terrible happened to me. That would be like the gist of it.
Maybe buy a couple dozen eggs.
Yeah. Oh, I looked it up today. I guess the price has dropped. So somebody fired just the right person.
So if the price goes up and then it goes up a lot and then kind of comes back down, they'll be like, "See, I told you."
Yeah.
He's bringing that price down, man.
Well, we'll look away while it's expensive, and the second it drops, we look back at it and we say, "It's because of him. It's because of our God Emperor."
Huge confirmation bias. Yeah. If I had $1 million, I mean, I'd pay the house off. Basically, just personal security, kind of like put enough away that I can live off the investment, and But I was kind of thinking, I was getting caught up in, because like $1 million, you can't really do much today. But I was thinking, if you had as much money as Elon Musk, like, what would you do? And you can stew on that for a bit. You're interested to hear what you say, but because I've thought of that before. Like, what would I do if I had just so much money, like donated and charities and stuff? But what I actually realized is I kind of got this idea from Mint Mobile. So Ryan, oh my God, what's that? What's his name? Reynolds. I don't know that I ever would have got that.
I just watched Deadpool.
Oh, nice.
The Wolverine one.
Nice, yeah. Okay, anyway. But yeah, so Ryan Reynolds, he started this Mint Mobile thing. He's just like, hey, here's a phone plan, $15 a month. And I just gravitated towards that so much, like no stupid gimmicks, just like, not milk it. And so I thought, if I had as much money as Elon Musk, I would start businesses that people rely on all the time. These like insurance company, automotive, life insurance, home insurance, and it would be not for profit. It would just be like a small flat rate. It'd basically be like a socialized.
That reminds me of Mark Cuban's drug company where he sells it for cost plus, but you just take out the plus part.
Huh. Yeah.
Like he's just selling drugs for cost.
Yeah, but and like start with like insurance, maybe have a streaming service that's just music streaming, all the different, just helping. Because my thought was, if you can kind of reduce that wage, what do they call it, the wealth inequality, kind of that wage gap, and where these working class people, they can afford insurance, they can afford to pay their bills. I maybe like go into some food, some easy, quick meals, and just, I don't know. But if I did that, then, we're shifting that. And then the working class has more wealth to really build on their dreams. And so they can live their lives and with just a peace of mind that they don't have to work so hard for all this money.
Yeah, I like that. I think if I had as much money as Elon Musk, the first thing I would do is in mid-2023, I would buy the largest social media company in America. And I would fill it with propaganda for the presidential candidate that I wanted the most and aligned the most with my interests. And then I would use that presidential candidate to appoint me a special leader of a new government agency. And I would create so many new social programs in America that no amount of Republican presidencies would have enough time to get rid of every single social I would use it to create the CFPB Plus, where not only is there a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, but they don't answer to the president. I would have it enshrined in the Constitution that the CFPB is part of the Fifth Amendment.
An amendment.
The Second Amendment.
Whatever.
That's the one they like. Yeah, the Second Amendment. I'd figure some way to attach it to guns, and then.
I love that answer. Like, basically do exactly what Elon did, but you have empathy.
Exactly.
And you're not.
Because his motivation to do that was exactly what anybody with that much power would do. But he's evil. You know?
It truly, I had no idea just how to what extent it was. But yeah, we might. I do kind of want to jump into some other stuff. Maybe we can come back and explore the idea of greed. But I want to start. So part of Wizardology, when it first started, we were doing it was like a book club for our scripture, and we'd read a book. And I struggle paying attention. I got that kind of ADHD mind. I'll read the same sentence 5 times and then forget even what book I'm reading. But what I really love, what I want to start doing, is a movie of the month club. Although maybe think of a cooler name than that. Maybe some fun acronym. We can kind of ponder on that. But I have
movie of the
first
month
movie.
Mom.
Movie of the month. Mom. The Mom Club.
The Mom Club. No, I'm just. Don't take any of that.
Or like
run away from
MILF,
any suggestion I make.
Could be movies I'd like to feature.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
The MILF Club.
I love talking.
I don't know what, but maybe if anybody watches this, please leave a comment. What should we call the movie of the month club? But I want to maybe we'll jump into. I have a trailer queued up, so we'll watch the trailer and then I can kind of give you my little take on it. But let me. Oh man. Uh-oh. No, oh dear God. That is not what we want. How do I do this? Give me 1 second. Present. Share screen. I think I killed it when I closed out Bishop Buddy's thing. Here we go. What does that look like? There we go. All right. So, the MILF Club. That might just stick. I don't know. Dinner in America. Let's watch this trailer.
Come on. Dance with me. I'm really glad you came to dinner.
What the fuck are you doing? He was taking advantage of me.
Get out!
Hey, Mom, can I go see a rock show?
What's the group?
They're this really cool group. The music is almost educational.
I don't like the sound of this militia music.
Rock concerts are bad news.
They up to a war. They said you assaulted some lady. Tried to burn her house down?
You see anyone suspicious running around back here? You got someplace around here we can go? I needed a place to hole up. Your house is perfect.
You want to know my secret? I write John Q love letters.
The fuck you talking about?
I write him one every week.
Where's your fucking bathroom?
Buckle up! I drive fucking nuts! Microwave it, dumb it down. Pressure for you is turning brown. Poison veggies and plastic meat.
I want my motherfucking check!
Around the table, come at me, you fucking cocksucker! That makes it bad. Dinner time, dinner in America. Dinner time, dinner in America. Dinner time, dinner in America.
You need to take it down a notch, motherfucker!
Do you think I'm weird?
Oh yeah, no, you're fucking weird.
Well, is weird cool?
In your case, no.
First of all, let me move that. Have you ever even heard of that movie?
No, I didn't. I've never heard of that.
Man, super. I can't believe I had never heard of it. It is one of my top 5 for sure. There's a song in that movie that I was crying. I mean, it doesn't take much for me to cry. I'll cry at a cute dog food commercial, but yeah, there's a song, and it was going to be the opening hymn, but then I wanted to save it, and I feel like that song should be experienced within the movie, like in the context of it. But man, it such a beautiful, amazing song. Yeah, nerdy girl meets punk rock dude. Best love story. We got Valentine's Day coming up. All right, so make sure I can't remember where you stream it, but you got to find it somewhere and give it a watch.
Yeah, I think I will watch that. That sounds really good. It had a I wish I still had good memory retrieval after smoking 1.5 joints. But, it reminds me of several movies that I've seen in the past, sort of like a Scott Pilgrim type of shots that they were doing. But I like that it was more adult than that.
Yeah. Really good. Well, let's see. There's a few other things. I guess I really wish, I don't know, someone's going to watch this. I do want to have a special guest on each, like a new, different special guest on each episode of Wizardology. And so if you're watching, if you're a fan, write me an email. It's thewizardshow@gmail.com. What else? I guess, so I have, what to say about that? So back in, it was back in November, I want to say, because it was like, December, whatever. I created this video, The Final Debate, Kent Hovind versus 12 other people. Did you come across that video?
I saw the preview type of thing that you had. Not a preview. It was like a premiere for the future that you have set on your channel. But when I saw that thumbnail and title, I did not recognize it, so I didn't see that on your channel.
And no big deal. It was just basically saying. So I created this video that was saying, Kent Hovind, all the time he says, "I'll debate you all, one topic at a time. Come on, I'll take on anybody." And so I created this video. It was just like a compilation, and basically challenged Kent, like, if it's going to be you versus 12 other debaters, I'm going to moderate it, and this will be the final debate. And so I emailed at least 20 other kind of YouTube evolution debaters, people who have debated him before, and people like Simon Dan, Professor Dave Explains, people that Kent Hovind has said he would debate before. But yeah, I got a few emails back, but I never heard back from Kent. I never heard back from Donnie. I emailed him again. I tried to reach out to Donnie in the comments. But then, I don't know if you know this, Kent Hovind's channel was deleted again.
I heard.
Yeah, so he's completely MIA. But I don't know if I still want to. I was thinking I might switch it up and still like have the day set, the live stream, but I would just invite any creationist to like debate me. I don't know, just talk about evolution.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think honestly, if if a good editor spent the time just going through Kent Hovind's points, they could find a response from every single one of those people and cut a video where it's Kent Hovind debating 12 of these people. But I doubt Kent Hovind would ever do something like that unless they had him at like Jubilee and he was in one of those, those surrounded videos where they have like one liberal and 25
surrounded by.
Yeah. I think he would do that just because of the stage production and being able to like switch people quickly, but like being one on one, this man is slippery.
As far as like cutting together, there was some video I saw. They did like an AI or like a CGI version of Kent Hovind. I don't know if the script was AI, but man, I bet you could like have AI read all of the scripts of Kent Hovind and just like learn and become.
Yeah. Have you seen the before the election? I don't know if it's still up, but there was an AI Biden and Trump things that would debate each other just endlessly. There are lots of like clips of it on YouTube, but they were just like AI Biden and AI Trump just like saying like horrendous insults at each other back and forth, and a lot of it was like user submitted, but just a Hovind bot that perpetually debates people. I think that's a good idea.
Man, I don't know if I am it. I think I'm done.
Yeah, I think it's ready. I think it's about time that Kent Hovind is left in the past.
Man, I was wondering about. There's at least one channel I know of for sure that focuses a lot on Kent Hovind, and that's Atheist Junior. Have you ever seen some of his stuff?
No.
But yeah, he'll like at least half of his videos on his channel are critiquing or talking about Kent Hovind. But now that Kent Hovind's hopefully finally gone, but also like I'm kind of curious, where did he go? Is he on some kind of weird website now trying to build a following?
Who knows? I don't know. I think he's probably just, if he can't get back on YouTube, I don't imagine him trying to keep doing the apologetics debate thing, because all the people on Rumble agree with him. I don't think it would be as it would make him money. Lucrative. That's the word I was trying to think of.
Greed. Hey, we circled it back to greed.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Okay, this is going to tie in perfectly. One of the thoughts I've been feeling recently. Well, let me start with this. When I was a kid, my best friend Jordan Hyde, we would just all of my worries were cared for, like my food, my housing, my clothing. After school, we just had free time to do whatever the fuck we wanted. And sometimes we'd just be creative, and we would draw, and we would, build in blanket forts, and we created some of the most amazing masterpieces, which unfortunately have been lost. But we made a short horror film called The Weeding Man from Hell. But my point is, we had all these creative endeavors, but I didn't really ever care how many people, I didn't care how many thumbs up I got. I didn't care that it was making money, or the, recognition. And we just did it for fun. We just expressed our creativity, and it was a beautiful, amazing thing. But now, as I am as an adult, I mean, I guess this is something creative that I'm not really doing for the views or the money, but so many other things. I want to write a book. I want to create a board game that I've envisioned, and all these different things. But then I think but what about the money? What about the likes? What about the recognition? I feel this drive to be creative, but then I think, oh, what's the point? If no one's going to see my art, I'm just going to create it for myself.
Yeah,
Do you ever feel like that?
I've been struggling with that exact same thing these past several weeks specifically. And that's because back in 2023, from October to December, I made a series of YouTube videos on my channel, and I felt pretty good about them until I made a video essay that I spent 2 months researching and writing and formulating my arguments. And when I posted it, it got age restricted, and in the 2 years since, it's gotten 14 views. And I basically stopped working on my own channel after that and pivoted straight into producing the podcast, because I had a friend that was there, that I had to answer to when it came to when the videos are coming out and stuff. So I was producing stuff without worrying if people were watching it, because I had a friend who was watching it, at least. Or it was an activity that I was doing with a friend. Well, and when I got to the end of the podcast, and we're not friends anymore, and it's just all over, I come back to my channel, and I've been producing probably what the average person would consider pretty hyper political content. And
you're talking about your newest channel?
Yeah, my same channel where I had the old videos.
Oh.
All my videos are all somewhat political, because I'm interested in political science. But recently I've been specifically talking about political events, and even though it interests me and it's fun to make, I still get immense anxiety before the project, thinking about well, what if all this effort's for nothing? Meaning what if nobody sees it? But at the same time, it's why am I doing it if it's just so somebody can see it? But it's also content I want to create to help people be more informed. So if nobody's seeing it, it actually does affect whether it's valuable to me. So I've been trying to produce it, but at the same time have this crushing feeling every time I fucking put up that video, because I'm just this is very futile until it isn't, and it could be futile forever. Since I started, when I was working on the podcast and I was finding smaller YouTube channels to interview, like you and a few others, I saw several channels that had been grinding for years, making consistent quality content for their niche and never getting past 1,000 viewers, And the only thing that I talked to someone who makes a gaming channel, and that's at about 2,000 subs after 10 years. And his main, his other channel, which is a vlog, is at 1,000 after 4 years. And basically his response to me when I asked him how he like can keep that grind going even though there's no reward, like until there is. He was just like, well, I have to enjoy doing it bit by bit. So I've been trying to at least like make the content I make interesting for me to learn as I'm making it, like sort of shifting a little bit away from like current event politics stuff to like I want to make a Star Wars channel that's specifically like talking about the politics of each like region and group in Star Wars. And I think that could really hit, but it's just like the amount of grind to get there is like, it's like looking at the mountain at the top and being like, how the fuck do I get to the top? And
okay, now, but how about this though? You take the Star Wars politics and you find the parallels and infuse it with modern political events.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
and I think I'm gonna like launch something like that, like launch the channel by doing something like that. Like if I get viewers on my main channel, be like, here's a video about current politics and Star Wars, and then be like, watch my Star Wars content now, like in the video. But it's like thinking about doing something that far down the line has really like hurt my creative process when it came to earlier stuff. So I really like, I think about it sometimes, but I try not to think about that. I try to just focus on the project. But yeah, it's a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of like worrying about expectations from other people. I completely understand what you're talking about.
No, I've recently, like with Wizardology, I'm trying to find that balance between appeasing the algorithm and trying to do what people are interested in, what sounds cool, and like, ooh, maybe this thumbnail. But then I don't know, I've kind of shifted and I'm going more towards just doing whatever the fuck I want to do, whatever I think is going to be interesting or of value, like my most creative vision, not influenced by trends or whatever. And I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna, all I can hope for is a cult following. Because here's the thing, is I know there are people out there who are like, this is my style of entertainment. I just want to see this middle-aged guy pretend he's a wizard and shoot
I'm
the
all
shit.
here for it. I was having so much fun watching the intro of the episode. Like I was smiling the whole time. So like, there's at least an audience of one. So there's got to be, hopefully there's more people out there like me.
Well, I think the percentage, so the kind of market for this is maybe 0.001%, but that's still like thousands of people. But that small group of people, they're like, oh shit, dude, second Sunday, it's time for Wizardology. They get their hat on, they get their little beverage, and we have some engagement in the comments. There's fucking nobody here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad. All right. Well,
we'll have to get Spartacus back here.
Oh my god, man. Spartacus. Was it?
Well, I can't remember what it was. It was Sparta. It was Sparta. Sparta. I think it was just Sparta something. But never mind.
Buddy. Yeah, I don't know. I what else can I say? It's been an interesting few weeks. Feeling, I mean, this whole political thing, man, I had a pretty intense situation. So someone in my close family, like one of my siblings, voted for Trump, and I'm going to my brother's gay wedding in the spring. And I was thinking like, oh, my sibling's going to be there. And I'm just like, how do you support your gay brother's wedding and support Trump? Like, okay, you voted for Trump, but maybe she is remorseful. Maybe she regrets voting for Trump or something, or doesn't like stand by him anymore. But anyway, I'm just like, where do you stand on this situation? I text her, and she just she's fully MAGA, this just siding with, this Bishop Buddy that we started the episode off with, be Christ-like. And Trump is nothing. Like, how can you ever justify or try and explain that Trump is anything but the opposite of Christ-like? But anyway, so yeah,
I think it really has, like, at least so many evangelicals feel like Trump is Christ-like because he talks like a prosperity preacher. He talks like a fire and brimstone type of guy without mentioning God all the time. He's talking about how these people deserve to be punished for the terrible things they've done. And even I've seen like people compare, because DEI has been used as like a racist thing lately, but someone also compared it to like sin. Like the way they use DEI is like, oh, the reason why this place isn't working is because there's DEI in it. But the same people were saying sin 30 years ago, the same evangelicals in that same thing, in that same community. And I think it's finally been like it's fully transformed from like being the type of Christianity that like many people recognize into being a separate, it's the religious beliefs are all upside down, like from fire and brimstone stuff to prosperity gospel, like saying, oh, if you give the church money, then you'll be rich, like that kind of stuff. I feel like it's just fully like become its own religion. Because there are like lots of black progressive Christian, I think Baptist, is it Baptist? I don't know. They're like extremely progressive in America, like just in general, like always vote Democrat and aren't like anti-gay, like, but yeah, it's just it's people seeing two different pictures and arguing over it, like really.
I realized recently after this whole thing with Bishop Buddy that as part of Wizardology and who I am, like I want to be Christ-like. I want to be, even though I'm atheist, but that merciful, kind. The only one thing, okay, maybe this is something we can dive into a little bit, because well, I was watching. There was some content I was. Anyway, they're talking about like Jesus loves everyone. Oh, it was actually an episode of Queer Eye. Anyway, but like, what would Jesus do? Jesus would love everyone. Love thy neighbor. Love. No exceptions. But I'm like, for me personally, the only group that I don't love or I can't tolerate are the people who are hating, the people who are intolerant. Like you asking me to love Elon Musk? Fuck no. He can get, oh my God, man, I would break his nut. I thought, man, how just great it would be to go undercover to like a MAGA rally or some situation where you could like go to like shake the president's hand and just like go for the shake and then just slap him in the face. What are they going to do?
Yeah, hypothetically, that would be very, very satisfying.
In Wizardology,
it makes you wish that a few things went differently in the past, like a few little, like maybe if there was a God, maybe if he guided just a specific bullet a tiny bit to the right, or if Luigi Mangione shot a different CEO, we just wouldn't be experiencing any of this.
Yeah.
But that's just how it's. We seem to have stepped into a very dark timeline, but I like your poem, and I like the idea of all of the good people being the beacon of hope in this time.
Yeah. I really, the outcome of the election surprised me quite a bit, honestly, because I thought, and I still do believe that the majority of people are good people. But the few, or the minority of bad people, took control. They took the power. They had the power. It's just like A Bug's Life, man. If we can't learn anything from A Bug's Life, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and people's minds are warped by propaganda right now. Like it's just very extreme and coming at everybody from all directions. And a lot of people who just do their day by day and like just work and stuff, they're not concerned about their neighbors. And it leads to this kind of situation where you think punishing, like you think it's a zero-sum game where you punishing people makes you more well off. So all the things that Trump has been doing, it's good for America purely because he's hurting some specific people. So that means there's a net gain for other people. But it doesn't work like that. And I think a lot of these people, they have convinced themselves they're good people, and they are like kind day by day, but they believe just terrible things and terrible options for what could be good things. Like
part of my, because so like with, I have a couple of siblings that are still Mormon. They're still in the church. And then, some of the family who like voted for Trump, which I think those are both two separate cults. You got the cult of Mormonism, cult of Trump. And part of me thinks like, oh, it was just their upbringing. They were just surrounded by it. Because like I grew up Mormon, I didn't know anything better. But I also think, for fuck's sake, I figured it out. I don't think I'm that smart, but I was able to figure it out. And they're still just bamboozled, man. Bamboozled. There's a really interesting thing I saw recently. Like, so statistically, the religious people, the Christians, and people who already believe in silly things are more susceptible to scams, to being bamboozled, and like pyramid schemes and conspiracy theories, because they already believe in nonsense. So what's another silly thing to believe in?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it's finally cascading to a point where, like, I was raised in an environment that was like poverty and stuff, and my mom was always been very irresponsible. So when I was a child with her, she was really into what's funny is she was anti-Christian and stuff during this time, but she still believed in magic and stuff, and taught us to believe in literal magic and conspiracy theories. Like, I was shown the film. Have you ever heard the film Zeitgeist?
Oh, it sounds familiar. I don't think I ever watched it.
Yeah, it's a 9/11 conspiracy film. It has two other conspiracies in it, and I was shown it when I was 11 years old. So I had a very warped view of all this stuff, and also I was in a minority of people. So when I was like 13 or 14, I was conspiracy.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a little bit of Oklahoma, and then in Kansas, and then here in Colorado. So those 3 places. But by the time I was like 13, I lived in Colorado, and I was like just constantly like conspiracy posting, you know, all the stuff people believe now. I was like a crazy like teenager posting this stuff, like getting completely ignored on like Facebook. So like chemtrails, 9/11 conspiracies, all of this stuff. And it like basically culminated in me like being a flat earther for like a year. Not really, like I stopped taking things seriously completely. Like to a point I was like an anti-realist, you know, and then QAnon happened, and I started like becoming like hyper political, like towards the left, like becoming more left, like politically,
Yeah.
and learning politics. And the more truths I learned, the more I came back and looked at conspiracies like, what the fuck is this shit? And but there was a point of time where it like flipped, and now it's like most people believe that stuff. And it's like when you look at it from like who's creating all this stuff, a perspective of that, it's all, or at least for the most part, it's like Zeitgeist wasn't like this, but a lot of these people creating conspiracy shit are Christian fundamentalists who have been trying to take over the government for a very long time, and they've done it finally. Like, and that's like, it's just really, it's
Man, yeah. Let me pretend to be surprised.
Yeah. And then there's just no good faith anymore from right wingers. I live in a very conservative area, and there is just
Wait,
it's not
currently?
a good vibe here. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
I live in probably the reddest area in Colorado.
Oh wow.
This town I live in used to be the capital of the KKK for a very small portion of time. Yeah. It was, yeah, it's built completely by slave prison labor, and it's like 99.8% white. Like, it is a very like red place in a blue state. And all these people, they're all celebrating. People even down to, like, my dad is relieved that we don't have a woman president because he was terrified of that happening.